On life's journey, we are taught from an early age about the noble virtue of generosity. This quality, present in the first steps of childhood, lays the foundations for our coexistence in society. Generosity is a moral compass that guides us to reach out to others, to share and to act selflessly. The reason for nurturing generosity is deep and intricate. It represents our ability to understand the suffering of others and offer comfort. By helping others, we discover a deeper meaning in our lives, a purpose that transcends selfishness. Generosity is an act of human connection where invisible ties stretch between hearts, binding us to each other in an unbreakable way. However, as in all aspects of life, there is a danger lurking when we follow the path of generosity excessively. As we sail through this ocean of thoughts, we will remember that generosity is truly a gift, but like any gift, it must be offered wisely, respecting our own limits, and recognizing the intrinsic value of our own existence. Stoicism explores the path of self-knowledge and understanding the importance of balancing generosity with self-preservation in search of a harmonious coexistence with others and with oneself. We are taught that we should give, share, and prioritize generosity above our personal interests, but someone warns us about the dangers of being too generous. From generous people who testify how they exhaust themselves by giving away their money and energy without getting any recognition for it, over-generosity can even put our own lives and health in danger. You'll be surprised by the unexpected negative effects that kindness can have on you today. 1. You will be seen as weak and treated as such. Stoicism encourages us to nurture our inner strength and improve our self-control, demonstrating our commitment to our own responsibilities and values and earning respect. When we give too much of ourselves for a prolonged period, we create an image of authority in this sense, but ironically, the lack of limits makes us vulnerable in the eyes of others. This leads them to constantly depend on our help, knowing that we are unlikely to refuse. To maintain balance, it is essential to communicate our limits in a gentle and clear way, demonstrating commitment to personal responsibilities and giving others space to manage themselves and find solutions. In this way, we gain respect and authority not through excessive concessions, but through self-discipline and personal dedication. But from the moment you start using this magic word, they begin to feel something for you that they never thought they would feel before: respect. 2. Your priorities will be forgotten. The Stoics stress the importance of living rationally and virtuously. Setting limits and prioritizing our own responsibilities is fundamental to maintaining balance and ensuring that we don't compromise our authenticity and well-being for the sake of others. If you go to great lengths to attend to the priorities of others, it may be a sign that you're avoiding something inside that causes you discomfort and anxiety. How do you feel emotionally when you spend your weekends alone, or when you come home every day without the expectation of someone waiting for you? If the reason for acting this way is the desire to escape from yourself, the situation becomes even more complicated. At some point, you will inevitably come up against yourself, which can be uncomfortable. What's more, your frustration will increase as you neglect your own priorities to attend to those of others. It's crucial to remember that self-care plays a vital role in our well-being. Before you dedicate yourself to providing comfort to others, it is essential to ensure that you yourself are satisfied, cared for, and happy. As a tasty metaphor, imagine that offering someone a chocolate should only happen after you have fully enjoyed one. In the same way, it's not advisable to commit to cleaning a friend's house before you have your own spotless home and enjoy a moment of relaxation with a movie and a glass of wine. Remember that your well-being comes first, and then you can devote yourself to others. 3. Lower your expectations. The Stoics emphasize the importance of accepting situations as they arise and not anchoring our happiness in the actions of others. When we act generously, we shouldn't create excessive expectations of rewards, which helps us to avoid disappointment and cultivate an emotional detachment that contributes to our inner peace. It is natural that, consciously or unconsciously, we have some expectation of reciprocity in our altruistic acts. When we dedicate ourselves wholeheartedly to helping someone, it's natural to want others to do the same for us when we need it. Making people's lives easier is a noble gesture, full of good intentions, but it can lead to unintended consequences. When you make someone's life easier, you create a dynamic where they can get used to depending on you for almost everything. This, in turn, creates an illusion that you possess almost superhuman powers to solve all problems, and this unrealistic expectation can be overwhelming. The pressure of taking on other people's responsibilities and offering help unconditionally can be overwhelming. Often, you expect others to respond to this generosity in the same way, but reality rarely follows this pattern. Looking at this dynamic from a more neutral perspective, it becomes clear that the people who depend on you are not, in fact, failing you. They are simply looking after their own obligations and interests, just as you should too. It's important to understand that everyone has their own responsibilities and priorities in life, and these may not entirely coincide with yours. Becoming aware of this can help reduce the pressure you put on yourself and reduce the stress associated with the desire for reciprocity. While continuing to help others is a virtue, setting healthy boundaries and maintaining a balance is essential to preserving your emotional well-being and avoiding unnecessary frustration. 4. You'll have a lot of blood-sucking friends. Stoicism guides us to value discernment and wisdom when deciding who to help. With self-control and objectivity, we can distinguish between genuine people and those who are just looking for an advantage, allowing us to direct our energies towards more productive situations. It's remarkable when friends who used to be close suddenly exclude us from social activities and only come to us when they need help. Looking at this pragmatically is essential. People rarely invite work colleagues to relax or share a beer, so it shouldn't surprise us if it happens to us. However, this doesn't mean that we should be cynical about human relationships, but it is a reminder to be selective and careful in our generosity, concentrating our efforts where they are most meaningful and appreciated. 5. Everyone expects you to give them something. As the Stoics teach us, it's vital to understand that true greatness comes from acting in accordance with virtue and reason, rather than just satisfying other people's expectations. Cultivating moderation and giving in a balanced way makes it possible to maintain control over your own actions, preventing harmful patterns from affecting your emotional balance. It's important to recognize that human beings are creatures of habit, inclined to follow routines and lifestyles that become part of their lives over the years. This tendency to adapt is the basis of what we call the comfort zone. Making life easier for others is a demonstration of kindness and altruism, but it can also create a harmful cycle of dependency. When you always make yourself available to others, this establishes a pattern that makes them expect you to always be ready to help them. As a result, they can get used to relying on you to solve many of their responsibilities, which, over time, can diminish your own value and importance. People are rarely willing to face you directly and advise you to prioritize your own needs and well-being. Those who constantly receive help often find this situation comfortable and can be reluctant to give up this convenience. This creates a situation of dependency that can be detrimental to both parties involved. While you strive to help others in a selfless way, it is essential to remember that the balance between helping others and preserving your own well-being is fundamental to relationships and personal growth. Finding this harmony can be challenging, but it's necessary to ensure that everyone involved grows and prospers. 6. Falling into addictions. There is a risk of falling into harmful habits. The Stoics valued moderation and self-control. By practicing discipline in our generosity, we avoid falling into addictive patterns and maintain a healthy relationship with our actions and choices. When neediness becomes part of our routine, our needs grow, making us more prone to addiction. Thus, someone close to you may one day realize that you are overdoing it with alcohol, food, or games. It is therefore vital to maintain a balance to avoid slipping into addictive behavior. Pay special attention to the words of someone who cares about you, even if your first reaction is to get upset and reject any idea that you have problems. This is something that often happens to people who are so wrapped up in their own issues that they find it difficult to recognize them. Always bear in mind that those who care about you mean well and wish you well, so consider their remarks carefully, as they are there to offer support and guidance, helping you to overcome the obstacles in your life. It's worth remembering that in many cases, our own perspective can be clouded by emotions and blind spots, while friends and loved ones can provide a more impartial and valuable view of the situation. Therefore, receiving feedback from those who care about us can be an opportunity for growth and self-improvement. 7. Attracting the wrong people. Attraction in our lives tends to be guided by those seeking help rather than those willing to contribute. Stoic philosophy, with its keen discernment, enables us to nurture authentic and mutually beneficial relationships. The people who cross our path seem to respond to our energy as if we were in tune. When we radiate positive, uplifting vibrations, we tend to attract individuals who are equally filled with positivity, generosity, and joy, creating a virtuous cycle of interactions. On the other hand, when we give indiscriminately, we end up dissipating our energy, reducing our vibrations and attracting those who are looking for help, as well as opportunists who seek to take advantage without the intention of giving back or expressing gratitude. These people appear only to exploit what they can, only to disappear when they are no longer needed. Therefore, Stoic discernment encourages us to choose carefully where to invest our energies, promoting more genuine and satisfying relationships. These wrong people often manage to infiltrate our lives when we are very emotional and at our weakest. To this end, the Stoics shielded their minds and controlled their emotions so as not to have these problems. I left a link in the first comment to show you how the Stoics controlled their emotions. 8. Dealing with suspicion. It's natural for them to be suspicious of you. Stoicism teaches us to act with virtue, regardless of other people's perceptions. By focusing our actions on the pursuit of harmony with our principles and values, we build an authentic reputation that resists suspicion. Unfortunately, genuinely good people are not as common as we would like in the world. If you are one of them, you may raise doubts instead of praise and gratitude. It won't be long before your goodness arouses curiosity, and people begin to question your hidden intentions. This doesn't necessarily mean that you've found a group of suspicious people, but rather that the reality is often that overly helpful people can have dark ulterior motives, making it prudent to evaluate the help they offer with caution. Often this suspicion comes with a very powerful ulterior motive that we can't initially see. Although Stoicism dealt with empathy, they didn't overlook the possibility of others wanting to take advantage. Marcus Aurelius still said, "Start the morning by saying to yourself, 'Today I will meet a meddlesome man, an ungrateful man, an arrogant man, a deceitful man, an envious man, an antisocial man.' All these things happen to them because of their ignorance of what is good and what is evil." Now onto the 4 strategies to prevent people from taking advantage of you. Strategy 1. Identify energy vampires and stay away from them. Learn to identify those people who suck your energy and distance yourself from them. Following the Stoic principles of self-control and discernment, it is essential to recognize which relationships are constructive and which can be emotionally draining. By distancing yourself from individuals who consistently consume your energy without making a positive contribution, you are looking after your own well-being and applying historical discernment to your interpersonal relationships. It's important to understand that trying to help someone who acts like an energy vampire rarely works. These people tend to overwhelm you with complaints, negativity, and a catastrophic view of life. They are not interested in solving your problems because that would mean stopping complaining, which they are generally unwilling to do. Therefore, it's best to stay away and preserve your own energy and emotional balance. Keeping your distance from these individuals allows you to maintain a positive and healthy attitude, as well as protecting your inner peace. Remember that by setting boundaries with negative people, you are asserting your right to have healthy and empowering relationships. There's no reason to bear the brunt of other people's negativity, and by walking away, you can focus on nurturing more positive and constructive relationships. Strategy 2. Lose your fear of the word no. Following Stoic principles, understand that your time and energy are invaluable and deserve to be allocated in a conscious and balanced way. Saying no in situations that overwhelm you, or when the request is unfair, is an exercise in self-control. Even though many associate the word no with a negative and pessimistic attitude, it's completely normal to find it difficult to say it. However, the real negativity comes when we fail to use this word when faced with excessive demands. Practice in front of the mirror and convince yourself that this is the only way to regain your freedom and avoid submitting to unnecessary commitments. No can be the key to preserving your peace of mind and maintaining a healthy balance in your life. Understand that no is not just a word, but also a shield that protects your energy and resources, allowing you to focus on the areas that really matter to you, nurturing your physical and emotional well-being. Practicing saying no is an expression of authenticity, of valuing your own needs, and an act of courage that sets healthy boundaries in your life. Strategy 3. Listen to your feelings. Listen carefully to your feelings because they have something important to say. Based on the historical wisdom of self-awareness, learn to tune into your emotions and feelings. The Stoics valued self-analysis as a means of understanding their own reactions and needs. By paying attention to your feelings, you can recognize whether you are overworking yourself and draining your emotional energies. This will give you the opportunity to adjust your focus and find a healthy balance. How do you feel when you help others? Thinking of yourself and taking care of yourself is such a genuine act of generosity that it should make you feel like you're on cloud nine. So, if you're experiencing feelings of overload, exhaustion, irritation, or feeling exploited, it's time to tune into your feelings. When something for which you have no obligations is causing you so much discomfort, it's vital not to ignore these feelings and to understand how the assistance you offer affects your own well-being and emotional balance. Strategy 4. Make time and space for yourself and respect it. Set aside a special moment and corner for yourself and honor it. Following the Stoic principles of self-discipline and self-respect, it is crucial to allocate time and a place dedicated to your well-being. Dedicate yourself to activities that bring you joy, whether it's practicing yoga, drawing, listening to music while enjoying a cup of tea, or anything else that pleases you. Fulfill your responsibilities efficiently to create space for these moments. Take it seriously, as if you were scheduling a vital appointment in your daily or weekly routine. So if someone seeks your help during this time, remember that they may not be considering your needs. Feel free to say no without remorse, and enjoy this time and space exclusively to look after yourself. Reflection is crucial according to the Stoics. It makes us think more clearly and see the possibility of improving our course of action. According to Stoic wisdom, in life, the best measure for things is always the middle ground, and generosity is no exception. If we give too little, we appear selfish and greedy, while if we give too much, we end up completely depleted in energy, time, and probably money too. So lean towards the shades of grey that are still the preferred shades when it comes to finding a balance between prioritizing others and ourselves. Finding this balance is essential to maintaining our own emotional health, ensuring that we have the ability to help others without jeopardizing our own quality of life. And when in doubt, always remember the magic word, no. This simple word can be a powerful tool to help you set limits and prioritize your own emotional health and well-being, without feeling like you're being selfish. This emotional health and well-being is something we need to have at all costs, and this, according to Seneca, is impossible without anger management. Click on the video and see how the Stoics controlled their anger,